People ask me all the time in my property portfolio why I might walk away from buying nice houses. So I'm going to tell you and unpack some key reasons as to why I personally and some clients will walk away from nice houses or deals that actually look cosmetically beautiful. Let's talk about it. So this is the 3 reasons I walk away from nice houses. Let's start with the big truth, which is just because a house is nice doesn't mean it's right for you. The decisions Emily and I have made as a couple, and now myself moving forward, are all about the right property for the right price in the right location. It's all about the right property for you or the right property for me. Everyone's circumstances are going to be different. And just because a house is nice doesn't mean it's going to get you where you want to go in terms of your property investing journey. And as a buyer's agent, I can tell you that we walk away from lots and lots of nice looking houses. So why is that? The first reason is the lack of growth potential or lack of upside and leverage in the deal. What this can look like is that there is a small or awkward block in place. Whether it's got a house on it or not, smaller blocks have lower underlying land value, and there might be a beautiful home on top of that land. But if it's only a 200 or 300 square meter block and you're 30 Ks from Brisbane CBD, you're not 1 to 3 Ks from Brisbane where that block is accepted, and the average block size is more like 600 or 700 square meters, then buying that 300 square meter block out in the suburbs gives you lack of upside, lack of leverage, and lack of growth potential because the land is going to do the heavy lifting, whereas the building is going to depreciate over time. Another point to think about is the street or suburb kills it. Is it a main road or a thoroughfare? You know, I see these investors buying new build stock, which was a display home, but it's on the main thoroughfare or it's on a roundabout, and you're going to have hundreds of cars each day driving by the home. And so the location can kill that beautiful property and its potential because it's in the wrong street or the wrong suburb. You then also want to think about, are the rental yields flat or falling? Is there a lack of demand or oncoming supply? You look at these new housing estates and there's hundreds, if not thousands of houses coming through the pipeline. Or that could be the case for units as well. If there's lots of oncoming supply, then rental yields may be stagnant or potentially falling, or there might be more competition, which means that your house might be the old chip off the block if there's new buildings coming through the pipeline. The second key reason is to look at over-capitalization, and that is, are you paying for someone's dream? Is this an investment into the bricks and mortar rather than the land being the key driver? And so has the property been well renovated beyond the ceiling of the suburb? Now, it's okay if your suburb warrants a massive renovation. You know, I'm based in Greenslopes on the south side of Brisbane, or New Farm can be a good example where it's pretty hard to overcapitalize in those blue chip suburbs. I spent roughly $900,000 to $1 million on this major dream raise and build home project, but the value was there to spend that money. If I'd done this with Emily in terms of an outer suburb, you know, in Eden's Landing, and spent $1 million on the home, then we would have overcapitalized in terms of the suburb ceiling and potential. This includes things like beautiful fixtures and fittings, but there's not necessarily the uplift in value created there. Now, there are buyers who will pay an emotional price, but we're making an investment decision when we're typically looking at property as buyers agents and as an investor myself. And so you don't want to be overpaying emotionally for these things, for nice, tapware or nice ovens and things like that. As buyers agents, we look at the range of where this property sits in that median price point of a suburb. Let's say the price point of a suburb is $1 million. If you're buying a $1.4 million home in $1 million suburb where you could have been buying a $900,000 home, you're sitting way up on the high end of the range or the disparity where most of the houses sit at $1 million. Ideally, you're buying at or below the median value, or if you are buying just above the median value, you're getting an above average product. You're getting a 4-bed, 2-bath home when the average home is a 3-bed, 1-bath home that sells for $1 million if you're paying 1.2. So those are some key things to consider as to why you wouldn't buy a nice house. Reason number 3 is this property doesn't fit into your portfolio plan. What is the vision? What are you looking to achieve? And so you're in a growth phase, but this property is about yield. I see some people chasing rooming houses because they look pretty and they're brand new and the builder's just finished it and handed me the keys and it's got a 7% gross yield. But the reality is this asset going to take you where you want to go? It doesn't matter how pretty it looks, it's about the end result and how does this stack and allow you to continue growing your property portfolio. Another point to consider is this maxing out your cash flow? Are you buying a perler of a looking product, but it's going to cost you a lot of money to hold? Or you're buying for negative gearing benefits just to improve your cash flow a little bit? What is the motivations behind buying this deal? Is it the bigger vision, or is it the cash flow implications, whether it's good or bad in terms of tax benefits, or it's actually taking away from your current position? And so does this deal help you open up the next door? Is this property going to get you where you want to go? Is it allowing you access to equity over time, or is it boosting your cash flow to give you more serviceability? Is this property servicing those goals? And we tend to see as buyers agents that those beautiful looking properties, which you have to pay a premium for, aren't helping our clients and our buyers tick the goals that they're looking to achieve. So this could be why a nice house is a trap. There's lack of upside. You can't add value to the deal. You are paying a premium to get this product. You're getting emotional. Now, it's okay if you want to get emotional and overpay for your own home. I understand that. I had a wife, and I understand that girls and women tend to want what they want. And so if you are buying as an owner-occupier, just recognize that you are potentially overpaying if you get emotional with the deal. But if you're taking an investment mindset, you shouldn't be thinking about this deal emotionally. And you shouldn't be paying for something that you're not going to actually get the benefit for. And then the third point is it serving your plan or your vision? Are the numbers of this deal helping you move forward? Or are you going to be stuck in the mud once you purchase this asset? There are seasons in my property journey where I've been limited on borrowing capacity, or limited on access to equity, or looking at the capital and serviceability on both sides and balancing that equation. But any deal you or I buy should be helping you work towards your bigger vision and the choices that you're looking to create for yourself and your family. Now, if you've been having a chat with an off-the-plan salesman or a property developer, and they're pulling the wool over your eyes in terms of the tax benefits and these nice-looking deals, then maybe you should reach out and have a chat with myself, because we buy established properties here in Southeast Queensland. We focus across 6 councils, from Moreton Bay on the north side down to the Gold Coast on the south side, and everything in between. So if you want to head over to purposeproperty.com.au, you can book in a free chat with myself. I'd love to hear from you. Can nice houses be a trap, or are they the perfect type of investment so you don't have to worry about maintenance and headaches? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and give this video a click over here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.